G'day. Now, did we all enjoy that funky musical experience? I was kind of getting on down to it here. We really enjoyed it. It's cool music. Thanks, Mr. DJ.
All right, then.
All right. Now, what we've got now is a bit of an info segment, and what we're going to look at is the origins of CTV, how it was founded, and the role that it plays today. And we've got Royce with us here, who's going to talk a bit about how it all came about. Royce, I believe you actually initiated CTV way back when.
Oh, way back when? 8 years ago, something like that. Just to tell the story briefly, but I tried to do exactly the same thing when I was living in England. Then, in those days, cable was very tightly controlled. And we got a word from the minister, or actually the department, saying that what we planned to do, just to cable across a room, to show pictures across a room, like this was treason. Would you believe? And so we thought we'd better think of something else. Anyway, I got back to Australia all these years later, and then saw the high-rises down in Waterloo. And I thought, well, the same thing occurred to me. If you've got a high-rises with the master antenna at the top, which is what they do, you know, they just they're all plugged into this one master antenna system, then you've got the potential for cable. You know, because all the people that are on that cable system within that building, and with other buildings, if you want to link them up, has the potential of receiving cable television. Now,
and what was involved in actually setting it up? How did the process come about? What did you have to do?
Oh, that was agony.
Was it?
Absolute agony.
You can reveal now 8 years on and a thriving success.
Well,
8 years ago wasn't the way, hey? What happened? How was it?
Well, what happened was, first of all, I had a lot of trouble with the Department of Housing, because they kept on saying, no, you can't be done, it won't work, it won't, and I said, it works, for Christ's sake. Just give me the keys to the head end and I'll prove it. Because there was a big battle going on over the silly little room up there, and all the junctions for all the cable places and all the flats and things all come into that one box, you know. And I said, give me the keys and I'll prove it. So that finally I got the keys, and I got somebody, I wouldn't do it myself, but I got somebody to come in and do it. You know, somebody more knowledgeable than I am. He just stuck it in and away we went.
Okay, great. And what were some of the aims and objectives back then? What did you hope for CTV? What were your kind of your plans?
Well, I didn't really hope that much for CTV in itself. CTV is just a tool. You know, it's there for people to use. If people want to use it, fine, great. You know, that's what it's there for. That's what it's all about. But the other thing is that it also means that
well, you're talking before about the information rich and the information poor. Is
yeah,
that what
that's right.
Yeah.
Mm.
How does that
well,
work?
That's one of the things that disturbed me. Right. One of the reasons why I set up CTV1, if you think of it logically, then it's always disturbed me that you can get people who are information rich and information poor. And this is happening more and more now than ever before. For instance, Optus here, they're cabling up the whole of the area. We know about that. But they're not cabling up these buildings.
Right, so that's the role for CTV then, to kind of step in.
Well, no, it's the role of CTV1 to say, you know, we will not have this. To be more radical about it and say, you know, why should they get it and we don't?
Sure.
You know, we should have the option at least.
Okay. And briefly, how does it make you feel now, seeing it 8 years on, and the numbers kind of thriving, the residents enjoying it, and you know, camera crews from other networks coming in here to film? How do you feel about that?
I think's great. Mm. Yeah. But we've still got a long way to go because the laws are not in place to control cable. Cable is a monster.
Right.
It's a monster.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Thanks, Royce. Tim Rainey is the Senior Administrator here at CTV, and briefly, how would you describe your role, Tim? What does it involve?
Very domestic, actually. In fact, that's probably what people don't see a lot of, is actually with the work that I do as administration, or when I was doing administration up to just last year. That is, you just spend a lot of time on the phone, looking after all the paperwork, contacting people, liaising with people, keeping people happy, keeping all the producers happy, keeping the board happy, keeping the management people happy, keeping the local government authorities happy, the Department of Housing happy. And I should say though that the Department of Housing and South Sydney Council are now good supporters of the station. There was a little bit of a few ripples in the water when it first started, but basically these all ironed out after a while.
Do you think that's a result of the residents becoming familiar with it and more appreciative of it, and now that they can tune in and kind of and watch it? I mean, what's their role, the residents, been in all this?
Well, I think they play an important part, but also so does TV. TV is seen as a fairly powerful communication medium, and people who are watching it maybe are influenced by it or get a lot of information. And I think the Department of Housing see that as a good outlet for residents. I mean, that's their altruistic side. But I guess also they see that they can't keep it down, basically.
Right.
I mean, this is the right of the people to have access to communication to each other.
Right, well Tim, just a little story here. On my first night here, when I came in, you had me behind camera one. I said, look, I can't do anything, and you said, I want you to, through the cans you were saying, can you just focus on these pair of Indian dancers whose hands were waving around? And I've told this story a number of times since, because I'll never forget it. It was being thrown in the deep end. That was just my reaction, but you know, I got a lot out of it. Would you encourage anyone just off the street? Is it fine for them to kind of come on down? Is it the kind of place it is? Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's the thing about the station, is that people can come in through the door and literally be on camera a few minutes later and experiencing. But it's also another interesting thing about it is people find out a lot about themselves. You know, there might be a lot of people out there who really think, I want to be a director, I want to be a producer, or I want to be something. A lot of wannabes. But you come in here and you get to know what you can do. And it's a very good experience, because often you can find in a lot of the other areas there's things that you can do a lot better and enjoy a lot more.
Excellent. Lastly, Royce, what are your favourite programs? What would you like? What do you enjoy watching? Yeah.
Yes, Minister. That's a repeat. Absolutely Fabulous. That's a repeat. What else? That's about it.
Would you like to see maybe some CTV satires of those types of programs, or it's a different role altogether?
It's a different role, yeah. I'd like to see CTV1 develop its own programming for television.
Right.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, but you're talking big stuff then. You're talking about, you know...
What's your most memorable moment from CTV, looking back over the 8 years?
Oh, God. So many of them. I can't remember any of them.
Tim, do you have? Well, I told you this camera work with the Indian dancers was my most memorable moment. It was also my first. Tim, do you have a moment that kind of stands out in your mind?
Oh yes, I do. I remember the rock band that got my instructions wrong when I was directing and turned the music up instead of down, and caused a resident to knock on the door. But that's what the good thing about the station is, interaction.
Yeah. Royce, have you ever seen any disasters like that in your time here?
Many.
Well, I saw that shirt you wore on the Christmas show about 3 years ago, and that's I think on that note we'll probably end it. Look, thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you all later. Bye for now.